Okay, here is my amp rack that I made for the Bronco. And you see I have the input line down here coming out here, and then I have the output for the 6 channels. I went through a few iterations of placement of the fuse block, mounting it different spots. You can see quite a few holes there, testing out different ideas. I'll throw up, some of my templates that I made, the video of that as well. So you see that T-spec got a 120 amp fuse there. I put a 2-position block because I plan to add a subwoofer amp in the rear. So I plan to run that under here and then run it all the way into the back here and then up, through the passenger door frame. So I had this PVC Sintra sheet that I cut out the shape that I needed, and then of course I heated up the edge here to fold it up so it gives it sort of like a cover in it. And if you check out the back, these are the mounting holes for the brackets that I made to mount it under the footwell. And then of course you can see the zip ties and the screw mounts that I have for the amp, and a few different holes that were extra. That's part of R&D, doing all this extra work. I didn't film it because I'm using my cell phone camera and I don't have any fancy film equipment to do all this with. But you see I basically used the speed wire, 2 of them actually, and then stripped out a couple of the wires, and that way I have the last 5 and 6 channel, and just bundled those together with the speed wire to make it a 12-pin connector, so that I can make this removable if I need to service it or do anything else. And then the USB cable right there for hooking up to the laptop to program the DSP is there as well. I'll have that hooked up when I put it in the Bronco, you'll see. And also I have the 8-pin connector for the input channels coming from the factory Bronco hookup. And then this is the remote wire that I have as like coming off the speed wire for, in case I want to, so I can add the other amp that I was planning to use for the rear speakers, the rear pod speakers, and then also piggybacking off this remote wire to going to the future sub amp, which will carry up to here and going back. Okay, here she is, all hooked up. I've got the RCAs hooked up for the rear speakers that are going to another amplifier. And then here are the input wires with the remote, and then there's the power wire going to battery, and then there's the output wires, the 12 pin, and you see the ground. So here are the brackets that I installed. I just threaded, there was 2 holes in here inside the Bronco's footwell. There you go. I have it installed and placed, all 4 bolts. And here you can see where I put the ground, which was the factory location, right behind the glove box. And the kit I used was the amp wiring kit from Stinger, 4 gauge. And I added the extra PET sleeves on some of my wiring. You can see, add extra protection. I'll put a picture of the amp wiring kit from Amazon, affiliate link on here as well. Put a screenshot of that in the video.